What's going on, guys? Your boy the Cash Critic, and welcome back to another New World video. And I know it's been quite some time since the last time we've actually made a New World video, but I am hyped for this, and I can't lie, I've been waiting for this expansion. I took some time off from the game, just recently started to get back into it, so expect to see much more frequent content regarding it as well, especially with the announcement of Rise of the Angry Earth that you just got announced today. So we're going to take a deeper dive into it. Huge announcement, right? The biggest thing becoming mounts and the whole new territory as well. So let's jump into it, see exactly what we got, guys. As always, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button down below, and of course, feel free to share this with a friend if you're loving the content as well. So, Rise of the Angry Earth. This is the new title for the new expansion. Now, many people might not be too happy about this because I'm going to go over it right now as the reason why. So, Green Adventurers ride mounts, wield a new weapon, and explore transformed lands when New World Rise of the Angry Earth launches on October 3rd. So we can't wait for players to experience every new feature, including the story behind the fall of First Light and our first paid expansion, right? Paid being the key word here. So discover Eternum's next chapter for $29.99 US. New players can pick up both the base game and the expansion for $69.99 as part of the New World Elysian Edition bundle. Now, look forward to Season 3 updates for all players alongside the release of Rise of the Angry Earth, with revamped mainline story quests, open world PvP changes based on player feedback, and quality of life improvements like the removal of wards, banes, and expertise. There has never been a better time to visit the Eternal Isle. Check out the announcement trailer below. So they have the trailer here. I'm not going to actually go ahead and play it for you guys. However, the biggest key highlight, which I expect many people are going to be upset about it, is the fact that this expansion is paid. It is not free like Brimstone Sands, and it is $29.99. Me personally, I actually have no problem with this whatsoever, and the reason for that being is because the game has been out for 2 years, right? It was a one-time purchase of $40 as well for me, and then also additionally, with all the content that we've been receiving being completely free, this is being the very first paid expansion. You know, they have to make money somehow other than just cosmetics and in-store game purchases. So they don't necessarily go ahead and put you above other players. I think this is totally fine on their part. And of course, we're going to take a deeper dive and see exactly what comes with this $30 purchase and if it is actually worth it as well. But drop a comment down below, guys. I know this is going to start a lot of debate. So drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and if this is something that you will be purchasing or not, or how you actually feel about it as well. Rise of the Angry Earth, the lush greenery of Elysian Wilds, powerful new combat options, and primordial beast lords await those brave enough to challenge Artemis. You will need to purchase Rise of the Angry Earth to experience the following updates. So there's a new story. So First Light has fallen. Once a welcoming place for newcomers to Eternum, the fields have been ravaged by the fury of the Angry Earth. No one is certain what has become of most, and villages that once populated that area in a deadly barrier has kept all but the most intrepid from attempting to find out. This abundance of earthly powers has awakened the mighty beast lords, a new possible adversary facing the people of Eternum, but with them also comes a boon, the secret to taming and riding animals. So First Light, as many of you guys know, has been completely blocked off, and now it's going to be open again to us on October 3rd. Now, I was really hoping specifically for this to be a pure PvP zone territory, but let's see if we find out more. And keep in mind as well, we do have the dev update coming next week as well, so maybe they'll answer that question for us too. Now, for mounts, the big one, right? The most exciting one for a lot of people, and of course the new weapon. So summon a mount for faster travel across Eternum, master horses, dire wolves, and lions, each with a unique look, customizable equipment, and a name you can set. Level up the new riding trade skill to earn upgrades like increased speeds, buffs, and higher tier consumable food for your new friend as well. So it looks like we're going to be able to feed our actual mounts themselves. We're going to be able to level them up as well, right? I know we've already seen leaks of the actual trade skill called riding, so that's pretty exciting, and it'll be pretty cool to see if they'll be able to fight with you alongside as well. From the trailer, if you haven't watched already, the trailer does show a wolf actually attacking an enemy for you, so that'll be pretty cool to see how we can incorporate that into the combat changes too. Now, for new progression, increase your character's level to 65, right? So now we're going from base 60 to 65. and gear score to 700 with new attributes to help power up your builds. Increases trade skills to level 250, so trade skills from 200 to 250 with new items to gather, refine, and craft. And this is obviously, of course, not including aptitude. Complete a new faction quest and unlock a new faction tier loaded with desirable gear and items, right? And this is something they spoke about recently in their Q&A that just got released yesterday, right? They are looking into like the faction market itself to rebuild it, to rebrand it. That way it's actually a little bit more useful to us, and looks like they're taking the appropriate steps here. Now for new gear rarity artifacts. So find and equip artifacts, a powerful new tier of weapons and armor. Right? Complete a series of quests and awaken the artifact's full potential by unlocking its 6 perks, including 1 unique playstyle defining perk to change your game. So that's pretty cool to hear. And the new weapon. The new weapon looks absolutely bonkers. I am a fan of the mace and, kind of slash a flail as well. But the new weapon is called Flail, right? And this looks absolutely astonishing. So the flail is a versatile one-handed weapon with the option for an off-hand shield. So that's awesome, guys. Now use arcane magic to enhance attacks and buff allies or debuff enemies for an easier victory. Through a combination of melee, arcane magic, and strong defenses, the wielder can bolster their group effectiveness without dropping the offense. So this is obviously a brand new weapon that's going to change the actual gameplay as a whole, and now a brand new weapon for us to master as well, or at least try it out if you are into it too. And it looks like, of course, arcane is going to be playing a big factor into the weapon itself too, and with combat changes. Now for the new zone, right? A zone transformed Elysian Wilds. So the southeastern tip of Heartrune, formerly known as First Light, has been invaded by the powers of Artemis and the Angry Earth. Explore the raised structures of this magical new landscape and battle the ferocious beasts that have taken refuge in the Verdant unsettled terrain. So hopefully we got like a lot more details regarding this. Obviously we saw brand new enemies, which is really, really cool to see as well. And then also they're getting like this kind of neon glow landscape to it too. So now being known as Elysian Wilds, formerly known as First Light. I was really hoping this was going to be a specific PvP zone only, but maybe we'll hear more about that during next week's devs updates too. Now there's a new expedition, the Savage Divide, and this looks absolutely awesome. I'm thinking this could possibly be a mount as well, but who knows, right? We'll figure that out too. It looks like a giant woolly mammoth. So embark on a dangerous new level 62 plus expedition to track down the primordial beast lords before chaos emerges from the depths of the Heartrune. Hopefully we see some kind of little trailer or some kind of preview to the actual expedition, or, maybe in the coming weeks as well, since the expansion doesn't come out until actually realistically a month. Now we have a new Heartrune as well, new Heartrune ability, Primal Fury. So as you can see here, unleash your inner beast to deal unarmed light and heavy attacks on enemies. Of course, we'll most likely be seeing that next week or hear about it a little bit more as the weeks go on, closer to the actual expansion. So Season 3 content as a whole, influence races, a new season pass, a main storyline quest revamp, and more are coming for all players in Season 3. Here are some highlights. So new season pass, of course. Season 3 introduces a new season journey, new activity card, new challenges, and new rewards. New influence races, so capture new influence towers and strike down enemy factions. Open world combat for territorial supremacy. Each faction will compete for influence in specific zones during scheduled times. If an attacking faction earns enough influence through PvP missions, influence towers, and forts before the race ends, they'll receive bonus rewards plus the opportunity to declare war. If the defending faction prevents the attackers from scoring enough influence within the time limit, they'll earn bonus rewards for both the influence race and the next war. Regardless of who wins, the attacking faction with the most influence can escalate the conflict into war. So it looks like we have some PvP changes here, so that's pretty cool to see, especially when it comes to rewards as a whole. So obviously this is something that they've been working on. They've been trying to revamp PvP as a whole and taking baby steps. I don't think they necessarily took the biggest steps just yet, right? I really am wanting that full on one specific territory for full out PvP. Maybe hopefully sometime soon, or maybe they talk about that next week. So new main storyline quest revamp. Eden Grove and Great Cleave. The Eden Grove and Great Cleave main storylines are getting an overhaul based on player feedback and improvements made to the revamped starting experience. So experience these familiar zones through fresh narratives, more quest variety, and a few new surprises. That's great. Ward, Bane, Resilience, and Expertise removal. So this is absolutely huge, right? The removal of Ward and Bane, that's a huge plus. Resilience and Expertise removal, obviously a huge one as well for people that don't necessarily want to grind to get that expertise. I know something that all of us did right from the start to get as much accessible to the end game as possible. So we're removing Creature Bane perks, Creature Ward perks, Resilience perks, and Expertise based on player feedback. As a result, we will make the following balance changes. So for Banes, we're increasing the base damage of magic and ranged weapons in PvE, to make them more effective alternatives to melee options against multiple options. That's awesome to hear. Might have to bring back my bow. Now for wards, we're making adjustments on the AI and encounter side to account for the removal of the defense and offensive benefits. So that's very interesting. As for resilience, we've added crit reduction to all players via the equip load effects. Light minus 15%, medium minus 20%, heavy minus 25%. Current items with this perk will receive the health perk instead, which increases the player's health as a certain percentage of their base health. So that's really actually very interesting to see as well. It's going to change the whole entire gameplay. And for expertise, we're making adjustments to the gear score drops for all creatures based on their level. So that way, we don't have to focus on expertise. We're just going to actually get gear that will ultimately increase as time goes on, depending on our playstyle and who we actually fight in our level. So stay tuned for more weapon and perk balance updates as we continue to implement player feedback in Season 3. Now, of course, because this is releasing in October 3rd, guys, there is going to be a new seasonal event, right? Events will continue to be free for all players. This season includes the following returning favorites: Night Veil Hollow, as you can see here. Costumes are coming alongside the return of Balthuzu, Marquise of Terror, Banish the Demon, and his horde of ghoulish pumpkin knights for a chance at temporary mask skins, treats, and other limited time rewards, right? Turkey Terror is going to be making a return as well. Turklon is back for revenge. Hunt down the Feathered Menace and his foul army to earn new rewards. Now, this is specific for FAQs towards the expansion, so let's jump into these and see, hopefully, some of the questions that I brought up and arose during this are answered here. So the first question is, can I purchase Rise of the Angry Earth without owning the base game? So New World is required to play the expansion. Rise of the Angry Earth is a continuation of the main story quest featuring some of the game's most difficult challenges yet. And the next question is, does the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion include the premium reward track? So the premium reward track is a separate purchase. Remember that. It is a separate purchase from the expansion and must be bought individually. So in total, you could be looking at most likely spending $50 for the season pass, and not only that, but also for the expansion as a whole too. So almost like a whole new game. So just keep that in mind. Also, the next question, how does Rise of the Angry Earth expansion work across different characters on the same account? So New World Rise of the Angry Earth is account-wide and will be accessible to all of your characters regardless of their world, so that's good. Now the next question is, will Rise of the Angry Earth expansion content be available for a limited time like seasonal content? So no, the expansion content will remain regardless of the season, while seasonal content will continue to cycle about every 3 months, which obviously makes sense, right? You're not going to have a new expansion just released for a certain amount of time, and then when new players go to buy the game, it's going to obviously separate the actual player base for them to not actually get that kind of expansion. So of course it makes sense for it to be actually permanent in the game. Now the next question, how will New World Rise of the Angry Earth impact my ability to join players who do not own the expansion? So New World Rise of the Angry Earth is the only way for players to experience the Elysian Wild Zone, the Primal Fury Heartrune, the Savage Divide Expedition, the Flail Weapon, Artifact Gear, mounts, progression updates, and revamped mutations. All other modes, events, and quests will remain accessible for everyone to enjoy together. Now, what changes are coming to revamped mutations with Rise of the Angry Earth? So, to further improve mutations as an endgame activity, we've revamped the experience for level 65 players. So as a result, you will need to purchase Rise of Angry Earth and max out your character level to enter mutated expeditions, which is a huge win. So this is actually awesome. So based on player feedback, mutations will have 3 difficulties and a weekly limit of 100 mutations. So this added accessibility means less time waiting for groups and more opportunities for players to help less experienced adventurers. So players can also look forward to more desirable endgame rewards. For example, players that complete elite mutations will have a chance to earn artifacts. Here's the difficulty breakdown. So intermediate requires 650 level gear score, includes mutation. Hard requires 675 gear, includes mutation and promotion. And then elite requires 700 gear, includes mutation, promotion, and curses. So there you go. There's a whole new kind of gear system here. And of course, they'll get more in depth with that with next week's dev update. Now, what are the system requirements to play New World? New World has continued to grow since launch and reached the point where the PC requirements for running the game need to scale with these new experiences. So to improve the game's client performance for all players throughout Eternum, New World will require the following system requirements alongside the release of Rise of the Angry Earth. Additionally, just for the actual specs itself, I'll let you guys go through it. Obviously, with the game going ahead and getting bigger, that just means it's going to require more power, a higher graphics card to support the game itself, right? So let you guys go through it. And as always, I'll link the actual article in the description down below if you want to go ahead and read it for yourself. As for the PTR, the Public Test Realm is a limited available service set that grants any early look at upcoming features. These preview builds are snapshots of upcoming major releases and are not final versions. So you may encounter bugs, crashes, missing text, or other issues, right? So this is the point of the PTR. So during this iteration of the PTR, we look forward to hearing your playtest feedback on the following changes. So stay tuned, right? They're going to announce as to when it's going to be actually live in the PTR, but you'll be able to experience the Elysian Wild Zone, Rise of the Angry Earth main story quest, Eden Grove and Great Cleave main story quest revamp, the Savage Divide Expedition, horse mounts, artifacts, flail, weapon perk changes, Primal Fury Heartrune, trade skill and gear score changes, influence races, and then also the Season 3 rewards track. So this is actually a great time in my opinion, especially if you're someone that's teeter-tottering between wanting to buy the Season Pass and also wanting to buy the expansion as a whole. Jump into the PTR because this is going to be available to everyone. That way you can test it out and see if this is something that's going to be worth your while prior to actually going ahead and making the purchase, or just not making the purchase at all. And this will really make you go ahead and, think if it's worth it or not. So PTR client access, the special preview client will be made available for download through the standalone Steam application, right? So you can go ahead and get that done too. Now, PTR FAQ, how do I access the new PTR? So everyone with a copy of New World will be automatically granted access to the secondary PTR app. The PTR is not compatible with the live game, so you will need to download a separate client. And from there, we will have the special worlds available with supported regions. Now, all regions will initially be supported, accessed on a first-come, first-served basis, so there may actually be queues. And now, the PTR itself, I'm not going to go too much in depth with it, but like I said, this will be linked in the description down below. But there you guys have it. Finally, we have news regarding the expansion itself, right? So I'm super excited for it. I think, personally, for me, this is a must purchase for me. I need to have the full game and I need to have all these updates. And I think they're just going in the right direction personally in my point of view. But as always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I know this is going to start a lot of controversy, just not from my opinion, but from what Amazon Games is doing as well. So whether it's good or bad, I'd love to hear your feedback. And if you guys continue to enjoy this kind of content, be sure to hit that like as well and support the channel. So as always, guys, it's your boy, the Cash Critic. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys can tune into more videos right now. Peace.